Day to you. Welcome to World News right now on TV Sapiencia. With me, Chioma Vic Chukwemeka. The President, Bola Tinubu of Nigeria, on Tuesday yesterday reiterated his administration's commitment to ending the insecurity plaguing the country. The President stated this when he inducted two T-129 attack combat helicopters and one King Air B-craft 360ER mobility aircraft for use by the Nigerian Air Force, represented by his Vice President Kashim Shettima. The President said the acquisition of the helicopters and the induction symbolized the commitment of his administration to the nation's security. The induction ceremony held at the 131 Engineering Group hangar, Nigerian Air Force Base Makurdi. The President said that the acquisition and the induction of the new platforms would improve NAV's air power in the ongoing war against terrorism. We move right now to Ondo State, where the State Assembly yesterday screened and confirmed 5 out of 6 commissioner nominees whose names were forwarded to the Assembly last week by Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa. The 5 nominees who were cleared and confirmed by the lawmakers during Tuesday's plenary were a senior advocate of Nigeria, Kayode Ajulo, Mr. Razak Obe, Pastor Emmanuel Ibasan, Mr. Akinwumi Showore, and Mr. Oseni Oyeniyi. The 6th nominee, Mrs. Omowumi Isaac, did not appear before the lawmakers. The Speaker of the House, Mr. Olamide Oladiji, who is the chairman of the House Selection Committee, said Isaac is unavoidably absent and she will be screened later. Away from that, members of the Distillers and Blenders Association of Nigeria on Tuesday yesterday stormed the premises of the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control in Oshodi, Lagos State, to protest the ban on sachet and PET bottles alcohol drinks. Also, in a joint statement on Tuesday yesterday, the Food, Beverage and Tobacco Senior Staff Association and the National Union of Food, Beverages and Tobacco Employees said this singular action, the ban, has sent over 500,000 breadwinners out of jobs and into the oversaturated Nigerian labor market. The associations lamented that the new policy would further pile more problems on the Nigerian economy as it may lead to the eventual shutdown of the industries producing these products. The protest by the distillers followed the announcement by the Director General of NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, on Monday that the agency would begin the enforcement of the ban on the importation, manufacture, distribution, sale and use of alcoholic beverages in sachets, PET and glass bottles of 200 ml and above. Nigerians are spending on foreign education, healthcare and personal travels gulped over $98 billion in 10 years, according to Central Bank of Nigeria data. The CBN Governor Olayemi Kadoso, who made the disclosure while addressing the House of Representatives on Tuesday, was responding to an inquiry by the lawmakers on the factors behind the rapid depreciation of the Naira in the last few weeks. He spoke against the backdrop of the central bank's battle to stabilize the exchange rate amid dollar shortage. The lawmakers had invited Kadoso and other economic managers following last week's plunge of the Naira from about 900 Naira to dollar to over 1,400 Naira to a dollar at the official market. Members of the organized private sector and Nigerians have raised concerns over the development, saying it would lead to more hardships and job losses. However, speaking with the lawmakers, Kadoso argued that the foreign exchange market was facing increased demand pressures, causing a continuous decline in the value of the Naira. We move right now to Bayelsa State, where the state government has said that it is working assiduously to recover all revenues owed the state by the federal government in view of the instability of the Naira and the huge impact of the soaring inflation in the country's economy. This was as it criticized the crude oil swap deal by the federal government, saying state were not carried along. The Commissioner for Finance, Maxwell Ebibia, stated these at a transparency briefing for the months of November and December 2023 and January 2024 in Yenugua on Tuesday. He said it was not only the incomes of individuals that were adversely affected and struggling to survive as a result of the rising inflation, but the government was also going through rough times. According to him, the state government is not satisfied with the federal government over some of its fiscal activities around issues that should involve both the national and subnational government, citing crude oil swap deals and signature bonuses as instances. He said the federal government, by some of its fiscal activities, was mortgaging the Commonwealth of the federating state as it did not engage them. The Chief of Staff to the President, Mr. Femi Gbajabamila, met behind closed doors with the National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, and some ministers at the Presidential Villa, Abuja, yesterday over food security and protests in some states in the country. The parley was held as the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, and some opposition parties disagreed over cost of living protests in Niger and Kano State, while the APC accused the opposition of sponsoring what it dismissed as anti-President Bola Tinubu protest. The People's Democratic Party, Labour Party, and Coalition of United Political Parties said the APC was chasing shadows and had itself to blame for the protest. Briefing State House correspondents after the meeting that lasted for about 3 hours. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, expressed President Bola Tinubu's worry over the development. He said that the president has directed that the situation should be arrested by the Presidential Committee in order to reduce hardship on the populace. The minister, who said that there is enough food in the country, added that some elements are trying to take advantage of the high food prices and the depreciation of Naira to cause havoc. Quite interesting. Away from that, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has fixed on Wednesday, February 14, for the conduct of supplementary election in Taraba State and a new rerun election in Enugu State. Now, INEC National Commissioner in charge of Information and Voter Education Committee, Sam Olumekun, disclosed this in a statement issued yesterday night. By-elections were last Saturday held in 9 constituencies to fill seats left vacant by the demise of or resignation of members elected during the 2023 general election, both in the national and state houses of assembly. Additionally, rerun elections took place in 39 constituencies as ordered by the Election Petition Appeal Tribunals. The by-elections were concluded successfully across all designated constituencies, with the exception of the Jalingo Yoro Zing Federal Constituency. We take a break. Recovery made from the biometric devices installed across government-owned facilities by the Governor Chukwuma Soludo-led administration to monitor activities of health workers. The state government, through the Ministry of Health, has stopped a salary of a medical officer for absconding from his duty post. Now, the Anambra State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Afam Obidike, who disclosed this, explained that on several visits to the Comprehensive Health Center, Okozo, in Oyi local government area, it was discovered that the chief medical officer in charge of the facility only attends to work once in a week, reason he instructed another person, Dr. Adobe Igwebike, to take over as the chief medical officer. Dr. Obidike regretted the nonchalant attitude of some health workers in discharging their duties, especially those in government hospitals, and re-emphasized that monitoring activities of health workers is never meant to witch hunt anyone, insisting that it is the duty and responsibility of the government to ensure that people have access to quality and affordable health care in all government-owned hospitals. He warned that going forward, any hospital that fails to meet government standards, the person in charge will be stepped down with immediate effect. The Health Commissioner further explained that the reason Dr. Igwebike was directed to take the position of the CMD of Comprehensive Health Center, Okozo, was because of her dedication and commitment to duty in the hospital, which he said that people working in the facility can attest to. At General Hospital Enugu in Njikoka local government area, the Health Commissioner expressed joy that health workers at the facility were at their duty post attending to patients, even though he did not inform them about his visit. He reiterated the commitment of the Soludo administration in repositioning the healthcare sector of the state, urging all healthcare givers to double their efforts so as to meet the daily needs of the people seeking medical attention. Away from Anambra State and Nigeria, we move to Gaza, where Hamas says it has given a response to a framework proposal for a new ceasefire in Gaza. The details of the deal set out by Israel, the US, Qatar and Egypt have not been released. It was earlier reported to include a 6-week truce when more Israeli hostages will be exchanged for Palestinian prisoners. Israel and the US have both said they are reviewing Hamas' response. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who is currently in the Middle East, said he would discuss Hamas' response with officials in Israel on Wednesday. That will be today. Russian missile strikes hit Kyiv and other cities today, Wednesday, in the morning, causing at least 1 death and several injuries, Ukrainian authorities reported. Kyiv Mayor Vitaly Klitschko said a downed Russian missile damaged power lines and some households in the capital without electricity. 1 man was killed in the southern city of Mykolaiv, according to officials. The whole country was put under air alert around 6:00, that's 4:00 GMT. Mayor Klitschko said 9 people were wounded in the capital, including a pregnant woman. All right, away from that, we move to the UK, where Prince William is to resume his royal duties, having taken time off while his wife, the Princess of Wales, recovers from surgery. William will attend an investiture at Windsor Castle this morning before a charity dinner for the London Air Ambulance later. While King Charles steps back from public duties as he receives cancer treatment, William, along with other senior royals, will take on some of his engagements. However, the King will continue state duties and meet the Prime Minister weekly. The 75-year-old has returned to the Sandringham estate in Norfolk after beginning treatment on Monday. The cancer was found during the King's recent treatment for a benign enlarged prostate. On Tuesday, the King met with his younger son, Prince Harry, who flew to London from California to visit his father. A door that blew away from a Boeing 737 MAX shortly after takeoff may not have been properly secured, according to a new report. The U.S. National Transportation Safety Board has released initial findings from its probe into the incident on an Alaska Airlines plane in January. It says 4 key bolts that were meant to lock the unused door to the fuselage appeared to be missing. Replying to the report, Boeing said it was accountable for what happened. We head to China right now, where snowstorms and freezing rain have disrupted transportation in large parts of China as millions of people travel for the Lunar New Year holiday. Hundreds of flight and train services have been cancelled, while motorists have been stranded on frozen highways for days. The holiday sets off the largest annual human migration as millions in China travel to their hometowns. Travel has also picked up after COVID-19 curbs were lifted over a year ago. Authorities expect 480 million trips to be made for the Lunar New Year, also known as the Spring Festival. The volume is 40% higher compared to previous year. Move right now away from that to Zimbabwe, where Zimbabwe's cabinet has supported proposed legislation to end the death penalty, marking a pivotal point in abolishing capital punishment in the southern African country. Information Minister Jen Van Muswer on Tuesday said that the cabinet decision was made following countrywide consultations. Should Parliament approve the bill, life imprisonment will serve as the maximum sentence. President Emerson Mnangagwa has previously criticized capital punishment. We take to sports stories, where some Kenyan youths have been locked out of the ongoing recruitment into the State Youth Agency for inscribing tattoos on their bodies, even though they met academic qualifications and also passed the physical fitness test to join the National Youth Service. They were found ineligible because of the body art. Some of the disqualified youths questioned the decision to lock them out of the exercise simply because of their art, and urged the authorities to reconsider the move. Authorities did not immediately give reasons for the move, but they promised to issue a statement at the end of the exercise. Local media reported the NYS recruitment, which is taking place countrywide, began on Monday and is seeking to net at least 15,000 recruits. Away from that, the International Athletics Governing Body, World Athletics, has ratified the historic world record set by long-distance Kenyan runner Kelvin Kiptum. Last October, Kiptum made headlines by setting the fastest marathon time in history. He completed the Chicago Marathon in 2 hours and 35 seconds, shaving 34 seconds of the previous record held by elite marathoner Eliud Kipchoge. The ratification of Kiptum's record by World Athletics means the governing body now acknowledges it as accurate and compliant with sporting rules and regulations. The 24-year-old is aiming to make history again in April by becoming the first person to run an official marathon under 2 hours when he competes at the Rotterdam Marathon in the Netherlands. Ahead of the Super Eagles African Cup of Nations semi-final clash with South Africa today, Wednesday, the Lagos State government has set up a mega viewing center at Mobolaji Johnson Arena, Onikan. The viewing center is part of 25 others all over the state to encourage residents to enjoy the best African football showpiece since it started on January 13 in Côte d'Ivoire. The clash with the Bafana Bafana at the Stade de la Paix in Bouaké in the fourth tournament meeting with the Eagles winning the 3 previous games. Kickoff time is 6 p.m. The State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Gbenga Omotosho, said in a statement yesterday that it was important for the fans to watch the match as Lagos has the largest base of the team's supporters. Finally, in sports, South African Department of International Relations and Cooperation has said there are no possible threats on Nigerians living in or visiting the nation ahead of the CAF African Cup of Nations semi-finals match between both countries expected 6 p.m. today. The department disclosed this yesterday following the statement issued by the Nigerian High Commission in South Africa on Monday. The Nigerian High Commission, in an advisory, had advised the Nigerian community to be watchful of their utterances, be mindful of where they choose to watch the match, especially in public places, and refrain from engaging in loud, riotous or provocative celebrations should the Super Eagles win the match. The High Commission based its advisory on potentially inflammatory online comments made by a section of South African citizens against Nigerians living in the host country, adding that the comments were largely influenced by the upcoming AFCON clash today, Wednesday, by 6 p.m. In its reaction, South Africa's DERCO said it doesn't agree with the Nigerian High Commission, stating that the country poses no threat to Nigerian citizens. International News reported this yesterday. And with that story, we wrap it up on today, even as we wish the Super Eagles of Nigeria a success in today's match. A top reminder of the stories. President Bola Tinubu on Tuesday reiterated his administration's commitment to ending the insecurity plague in the country. Snowstorms and freezing rain have disrupted transportation in large parts of China as millions of people travel for the Lunar New Year holiday. The South African Department of International Relations and Cooperation has said there are no possible threats on Nigerians living in or visiting the nation ahead of the CAF African Cup of Nations semi-finals match between both countries. Interestingly, that's it on the news today. On behalf of the entire editorial news and production crew, I am Chioma Vic-Chukwemeka. Today, Wednesday, the midweek. Whatever it is you do, kindly be security conscious, be on the alert. Do have a smash and an interesting midweek ahead of you and an interesting weekend in view. Do have a great time. Stay with us. Good afternoon.